Good morning to everyone, wherever you may be in any part of the country, depending on the time and when you get this video. There is this video that was sent to me, and when I looked at the video, I think I should analyze in this video. And this video is all about Afrobeat and high life, where it originated from. Because I see the Ghana country saying that Afrobeat high life originated from them. Well, in general, I would say during the time I was born and when I started knowing things, I knew that Afrobeat, that every African country has their own type of high life. It was all generated as high life. Then every country have their own type of way they sing their own type of high life. But it was not known then. It was not known because everybody is singing their own. I remember those days in Nigeria, the only thing that we hear those days are Yoruba music. And there was nothing like Yoruba and Igbo music. And the only English music we hear those days was like only American music. And then, and the film we watched those days was mostly Indian and American. So the English we hear mostly are the Americans. So most Nigerians speak like an Americans. Then they will be, because of much watching of this, so everybody want to speak like an American. Until Fela came up with this Afrobeat. Afrobeat originally was originated from Nigeria. And I'm telling you the truth, high life and Afrobeat, because during those days, Nigeria was only hearing Yoruba and like I said to you, Igbo, all this traditional music. And the only music that calls English music are the one we hear from that American. The American got a lot of fans from us, and then Indian films and Indian music too. Because that was how I know Ijanima, Ijaniti, all those things. So Nigeria sing Indian music a lot. So those are the kind of music that we are meant to know those days. So, and in those music, the Yoruba sing high life in Yoruba form, the Igbo sing high life in Igbo form, but there was nothing like English music that everybody could, sing along together. Not Yoruba, people only Yoruba singing, Igbo only Igbo singing. So until Fela came up with this pattern of Afrobeat that captured the heart of Nigerians. And it was not easy for Fela to capture the heart of Nigerians with that, because of this story that is going on that Fela went to this thing. No, broken music. I remember those days that we were little, we also formed a broken music that was called Egunu. And Egunu only blew locally. It blew locally. It was locally blew. When I say locally, when I say local, I mean distant locally. When the whole of Ajegule, going to Wima, Christian, going to, when it come AJ Ajegule, it blew the whole of Ajegule. And everybody was using Egunu. And I was the originated of Egunu, because I sang it in the Nigerian language, because it was Nigerian broken that we used, and I sang it, Egunu, we don't come, Egunu, we don't come, just like that, singing, and I found that music, and it blew. And during those days, Nigeria was urging to sing their own music, their own kind of music where they understand, English music where they understand, but nobody was giving it. So locally, people were creating, like me now, like some people were creating all this kind of local music. And then, because we do not have studios then, there was no studio. it's not easily to get a studio because Nigerian does not know much about studio then. And even if you want to get studio, then Fela was the only people. It's not, you can't get studio. What we do, we form studio, or you do high, because most of the thing that we have is band. You have to have band. It's band that is more band everywhere. So that is what is more band. So when you have band everywhere, it is not easy to get to get a to get this thing is a studio. So what I'm saying is that all these things collect together made Nigerian was the one that originated Afrobeat and high life, and it went viral today. I needed to listen to this. I'm coming back to this to discuss about it, but I needed to listen to this and see what this medium, what these people were saying concerning Afrobeat and high life. Then I'll come back again and analyze on this. I'm always your boy, bringing you updates. Bye.
Stop the lie. Nigeria did not originate high life, My Joy Online. It is laughable that in 2025, some people from other countries still want to rob Ghana off the credit for birthing high life music. An interview that Nigerian artiste Yemi Alade had with CNN's Larry Madowo about 3 months ago has goaded me to write this piece. A comment Yemi made in that interview with CNN's Larry Madowo, claiming high life did not originate only in Ghana but also in Nigeria, reeks of ignorance if not for ill agenda. While talking about how successful her song Johnny was, Larry Madowo made reference to the high life elements in that song, crediting the genre's origin to Ghana. Obviously unenthused about that, Yemi Alade retorted, "You said first of all that high life is originally Ghanaian? We have to talk about that. I grew up at a time in Nigeria when high life was a big deal, and as far as I know, Nigeria, Ghana, etc., we have already been connected via music and everything, so I feel like it originated in both Nigeria and Ghana." On the Say It Loud segment on Showbiz AZ aired on Saturday, February 15, 2025, I highlighted some historical facts about when high life started in Ghana and when it got to Nigeria. Maybe Yemi Alade hasn't learned her history well. For someone born in 1989, maybe she thought high life started around the time she claims high life was a big deal in Nigeria. This is not the first time citizens of other countries have tried to claim ownership of high life. Some Liberians have also tried, but to no avail. Ghanaian ethnomusicologist Professor John Collins has spoken about how he had to school some Nigerians who made same claim during a conference in Nigeria, years ago. Evidence that high life, an evolved version of indigenous Ghanaian sounds Asabisaba and Adaha which emerged in the early 1920s, is of Ghanaian origin abound. High life got to Nigeria around 1937. In Professor John Collins' book High Lifetime 3, he writes in chapter 47. Nigeria is now a major center for high life. However, the music was introduced to the country from Ghana in variety of ways. At first, through the diffusion of the Kokamba High Life, and 1937 Nigerian tour of the Cape Coast Sugar Babies Orchestra, later the 1950s records Ek Nyam and Onyina's guitar band, and most importantly, the early 50s tours of the Ghanaian Tempos Band. The book also reveals that the jazzy style of high life of E.T. Mensah's dance band was copied by most Nigerian band leaders like Victor Olaiya, Bobby Benson, Rex Lawson, and E.C. Arins, who had earlier been playing versions of calypso and rumba. This was way before the likes of Abareki Iriba Kofi Sammy, King Bruce, Jerry Hansen, Nana Kwame Ampadu and others went to Nigeria to ply their high life trades. The Kumasi trio led by Jacob Sam, Kwame Asare, recorded the first Ghanaian high life song, Ya Ampansa, as early as 1928 when high life had not gotten to Nigerian yet. The song was recorded in London on the Zonophone label. It will be wrong to say Ghana is the only country that performs high life. Countries like Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria also do high life. However, the fact that high life originated from Ghana is incontrovertible. Last year, I had an interview with Professor John Collins on Joy FM's Showbiz AZ about claims by some Liberians that because the crew sailors from Liberia taught some of our Ghanaian musicians the two-finger picking technique of the guitar playing, they started high life. In his response, he said, Liberian guitar style, wasn't high life. The crew people did develop distinct ways of playing the guitar on the high seas in the 19th century. Cross were recruited on board a lot of sailing ships by the Europeans and Americans. So they picked up the guitar, but they didn't use the Spanish way of picking the strings. They used the typical African one, like how King Isoba or other Africans play the lute. It's a two-finger technique, and that's what the crew people spread down the African coast, but it wasn't high life. According to him, this guitar playing style was just a single element of high life which in Ghana was absorbed into a music type called Asabisaba. In Sierra Leone, they fused it into the Marina style, while in Nigeria, it found a place in Juju and native blues. So we say that the crew people didn't invent high life, but they created a very important ingredient of high life, which is a specific way of playing a guitar. They introduced it to Ghana around about the 1900s, but when the Ghanaians got hold of this style, they also developed their own styles such as Yampansa, Odanson, and so on. So this is what happened. It is not that the Liberians invented high life, Professor John Collins added. He further noted that because in those days there were no colonial borders, the fisher folk moved between countries, so there was a lot of ethnic blending going on in West Africa. The crew people would settle in Ghana around the lighthouse in Accra, or Ghanaians would go to Nigeria and vice versa. Famed Nigeria actor Pete Edeke is on record to have acknowledged Ghana as the sole originator of high life. All this music originated from Ghana. Why? In Nigeria, the popular genre of music was high life. Where did high life come from? Ghana. This is where it originated, he said a video. Ghanaians discovered high life. We named it and sold it to the world. Ghana's high life spread to other West African countries through tours and trade. Ghanaians took high life to Nigeria. Some Nigerians even came to Ghana to learn our sounds. Fela Kuti spent time in Ghana learning about our high life music, developing it into Afrobeat. In his biography titled Fela, This Bitch of a Life, he writes that one day while in a club in Accra, he thought about how to bring out something different other than what James Brown did. I must clear myself from this mess. I must identify myself with Africa, then I'll have an identity, he writes. He added that there was a Ghanaian Nigerian friend, called Raymond Aziz, sitting by him on that day at the club. He asked him, Raymond, you see that my music? I must give it a name. A real African name that is catchy. I've been looking for names to give it, and I've been thinking of calling it Afrobeat. After Raymond endorsed the name, he flew with it. Ghana has been the fulcrum of Africa's music, but we always lose out on things spawned from our country. This is why an Afrobeats documentary by a Nigerian will not acknowledge that the word Afrobeats, with the S, was first used by a Ghanaian DJ in the United Kingdom called DJ Abranti. On July 5, 2022, one of Nigeria's top music journalists, Joey Akan, confirmed on X, then Twitter, Fela Kuti's Afrobeat was coined in Ghana. Our generation's Afrobeat was coined by a Ghanaian. While a lot of us admire the proactive and smart nature of Nigerians, it has always been unfair on the part of some of them to arrogate to themselves creations that are not theirs, just like Yemi Alade and some of her ilk are trying to do with the High Life story. But I know where this is coming from. They are doing this so that United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, will co-list Ghana and Nigeria as originator of high life. I am reliably informed that some Nigerians are making moves to petition UNESCO to be made co-owners of the high life genre. This should not happen. We can't change history. We will not do that. Nigeria never originated high life, not even Liberia, whose crew sailors spread the two-finger picking technique to Ghana and other West African countries. The Ghana Culture Forum, the National Folklore Board, Ghana's Commission on UNESCO, Musicians Union of Ghana, Musica, and Ghana Music Alliance should not let this slide. This agenda should not be allowed to thrive. The folklore board should finish up with the necessary documentation and expedite the listing process as requested by UNESCO. The Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and Creative Arts shouldn't rest on their oars on this issue. They should provide the needed support to make this happen as soon as practicable. Nigeria wants to claim everything we started to the extent that they now claim they own Dedi December too. High life originated in Ghana by Ghanaians, any other country that also performs the genre, copied from Ghana. About the author. Kwame Dadzi is an arts and culture journalist at the Multimedia Group and host of Showbiz AZ on Joy FM, the most authoritative entertainment talk show in Ghana. Related to this story. Music review: Demystifying the Mystery Box in Black Sharif Sojasan Trophy Band calls for youth involvement in High Life. If you want hits, stick to High Life. Kwabena Kwabena, I almost thought this moment would never come. Yemi elate on first Grammy nomination. James Earl Jones, voice of Mufasa in Lion King, dies aged 93. Stoneboys rants about Grammys. Hip Life article. Much Ado About Nothing. Musica to launch annual High Life competition. Music consumers should patronize High Life. Adina making High Life song highest award at TGMA will promote the genre. Data Hafco music producers can have an agenda for High Life. Wei Yi Oteng. Bridget O'Toole is the nod at private ceremony. My Joy Online.